Are we are we live? Alive, alive, alive. Yes, Thanksgiving is on the way. Halloween has passed. And that one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Welcome down to Aptors Alley. Nice and bright here. Chilly, but bright. You're not going to see the short sleeve shirts for a few months. You're going to see some jackets, and I don't know. This one is what's on the back here. I think this is my Nashville jacket, if I'm right. I One of the things that I do throughout my career, and welcome everybody. One of the things that I do throughout my entire career, or did and still do, is that when I go to another country or another city, I like to get one of these very cool looking jean jackets. Let's readjust the yeah. So you can do the whole Bill the Model Martel thing here. So, do you remember Rick the Model Martel? Of course you do. And as more people come into the ring, I want to welcome you. It was another really good night of pro wrestling. But before we get to that, I got a lot of emails, a lot of tweets, and a lot of stuff from people that said, we love what you're doing on Wednesday nights. And you're telling your friends and all that. But a lot of people say, where can we meet you, Bill Apter? Where can we meet you in person? Where are you going to be? So I put together a list of some of the places that I'm going to be appearing during this month, November, and thus far booking. I say thus far because there might be more in December, and I will be there. And oh, this is so heavy. Can you see this? This is my book cover. Is wrestling fixed? Let's hear it. I didn't know it was broken. That's right. And I will be having books, and some of them I'll be doing my one-man show, and some of them I'll just be walking around doing interviews for OneWrestlingVideo.com. So let's take a look. I'm going to do this in the old announcer. Let's take a look at Bill Apter's bookings, where you can see Bill Apter live, not dead, hopefully, in November and December on 11/13, November 13th. I will be at Montgomery County Community College in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, at the Applied Sciences Building at 7 p.m. And why am I doing that? Why am I going to Montco? Well, first of all, I love the place, but Josh Chernoff, who I was doing the Is Wrestling Fixed? I Didn't Know Was Broken After Chat podcast for so many weeks, does his show from the studio there live, well, taping it for Fight TV. So come down. It'll be a great time. That, again, is next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And you get home to, DVR NXT and AEW, and then we can talk about it afterwards. On November 17th, it is November to remember. Allentown, Pennsylvania. Bud Carson, who used to run Bud Carson's Pro Wrestling World, is now running it in a different place. At the Fairview Fire Company on 7th Street in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Bob Orton Sr., Randy's father. Randy, by the way, we'll talk about it in a minute. Doom will be there, Butch Reed and Ron Simmons. Greg Valentine. Every time I hear the name Greg Valentine, I always need to do my imitation of Pedro Morales, who used to call him Valentine. He used to go, I am ready for you, Valentine. Used to love how he said that. And the daughters of Roddy Piper and Andre the Giant. Andre's daughter and Piper's daughter will both be there signing autographs. And as you people know, if you've read my book, Is Wrestling Fixed? I Didn't Know It Was Broken. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, especially when I was growing up, Mil Mascaras. Many of his masks right up there. He will be there too. I love how he used to come into the ring. He'd do this whole thing there. And then on 11/23, November 23rd, at the old ECW Arena, the 2300 Arena, Icons of Wrestling. And you can get a photo op with Magnum TA and Nikita Koloff. There will be Sid Vicious and their man Teddy Long and Danny Spivey. The Skyscrapers will be there. Stan Hansen, Tito Santana, Arriba, That's on 11/23. And then just got this booking recently on December 7th, which is a Saturday night, Locked Target Wrestling, 2 Warren Avenue in Lanoka Harbor, New Jersey, at the Lanoka Harbor Firehouse. And the doors will open at 5:30 p.m. I am negotiating to host the event. Not sure if it's going to happen, but I will definitely be there. And you can find them on Facebook, Locked Target Wrestling. And the ticket hotline number is 732-644-3156. And Salvatore Sincere, a.k.a. The Patriot, a.k.a. Tom Brandy, all 3 of them will be there. Yeah, so it will be a great show. Let's get to some news of the week. And well, you know what? Let's give Mac Davis, my trusty co-host, a call. Hold on. We'll go to the After Chat line here and see if we can get Mac on the phone so we can talk to him about what went on tonight. Oh, come on, Verizon. Don't give me a problem now. We tested it 10 minutes before we went on the air here, and everything was working fine, and now Verizon's telling me no service. Baloney. I paid my bill. Hold on. Let's try this again. Mac and I just tried this right before we went on the air. Enable Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is enabled. This is, again, the wonders of doing... Mac, I know you're watching out there, and I know you and I tested this 10 minutes ago. So while we're doing that... Oh, you know what? While we're doing that, I have my old cassette recorder here, and I've got this queued up to... an interview I did with Terry Funk back in the mid-'70s. Here, listen to this while I'm trying to get... Just Bill Actor, and we're speaking here with Terry Funk. Terry, you have started something that a lot of wrestlers have been copying recently. You found a reversal method to Jack Briscoe's figure 4 leg lock, but you've still been unable to get the title from him. Do you feel kind of flattered that these other wrestlers are imitating you now and reversing this move?
Not necessarily flattered. I feel that I've come across something that can be a tremendous advantage to you in a match against Jack Briscoe. And what that is a figure 4 reversal. What you do is you try to turn the man completely over whenever he has a figure 4 leg lock on you. And so doing.
Mac Davis, are you there? Where are you, Mac Davis? Okay, let's try. You heard that, so it was working. And we will get back to Terry Funk in a minute, too. Okay. Ta-da-ta-da. There we go. There we go. There we go. Mac.
Hello, Bill.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you great. Hold on a minute. We're having the wonders of Verizon once again.
I don't mind this time.
And you and I, as we know, we tested this out 10 minutes before we went on the air, right?
Yeah, right. Correct.
And everything worked great. So are you there, Matt?
No, I'm coming. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, so we were just going over some of the dates that I'm going to be appearing with, but there's some interesting things going on, and I know you were watching AEW tonight.
That's correct.
You know what it is? You know what I'm having an issue with? I'm getting feedback because your speaker is on your computer or something. So I'm hearing me coming from you there.
You shouldn't hear anything. I don't have any speaker going at all.
Wow, that's weird. Okay, well, anyway, so let's keep going here. So some news going on this week, and before we get to AEW and NXT, is that Randy Orton has, there was speculation that he was not going to renew his contract with WWE. He was hinting that he was going to go to AEW. And Mac, you still there? Okay, hold on. I don't know why we're having so much problem with this when we didn't have this before. Okay. And he has announced now that he has signed a new 5-year deal with WWE. What do you think?
I think that's probably the best move he could have made. I couldn't imagine really him going anywhere else. I know a lot of people were hoping that he might show up in AEW, but I didn't see that happening. Randy belongs with the WWE, and that's where he needs to stay.
Yeah, Randy, I mean, his whole family was, I remember, and I hope this isn't going to age me, but it will. I remember when I was a kid watching his grandfather, Bob Orton Sr., on the Olympic Auditorium TV, but also in person at Madison Square Garden, teaming with Buddy Rogers. He was known as the Big O, Bob Orton. And you probably, when you were a baby, you probably saw pictures in the magazines, right?
No, I remember his father. Always the broken arm or the wrist. So
yeah, I'm going to see him at several of the conventions coming up. But that was very good news, because I think if he went to AEW, they probably would have put him into the group with Chris Jericho, of course, the Inner Circle, where I think he would have fit perfectly.
He would have fitted that role perfectly, but I'll be honest with you, had Randy gone, I'm not so sure he wouldn't have been the number one guy. I think he could have come in and even eclipsed Chris Jericho.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I think he had the youth on his side. He still has that look, the athleticism. I'm not saying that Chris doesn't have the move skills still, but his look, he's getting a little bit older, and Randy still has that younger look. So he's lot more in that horse than Chris Jericho.
When I was watching Chris Jericho during the tag team match tonight, I noticed when his back was toward the camera, he looked like a veteran wrestler. He didn't look like that young Chris Jericho, but there was nothing wrong with that. This is where he's at tonight, and at this part of his career. And I love that promo that he did with the with Virgil, who is no longer Soul Train Jones, and that older lady, and Sammy Guevara saying, "Oh, well, he's the youngest AEW champion ever. He's the first one. He's the only one."
And he was also making fun of an earlier video put out by Cody and his wife.
I know.
That was a straight knock at Cody. And I remember making notes when that was going on. It was simply hilarious. I thought it was well written, a good piece of tongue-in-cheek, while at the same time stoking the fire a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely. By the way, fans, as I mentioned, every week we will get to your questions soon, but I'm going to throw this out there. So while you're watching us or listening to us, and before Dangerous Danny Davis, no relation to Mac Davis, winds up on the phone in a bit, Cody gave a very passionate speech tonight. What did you think? I'm asking you fans, what did you think of his speech tonight? Mac, what did you think?
I thought his speech, to be honest with you, was fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most emotional, hyped up promos I've seen come out of him probably in a few weeks. He gave those type of promos when he was building the AEW brand, and now he's using that same emotion for this match against Chris Jericho, and it really will draw people in. If people didn't think they wanted to watch that match before that promo, after that promo, I'm sure they're ordering the pay-per-view.
Yeah. That's going to be it's going to be really interesting. But you know what's got me? What's really got my enthusiasm about the whole business up again now? If it wasn't for that airplane grounded in Saudi Arabia, this incredible invasion angle that's brought me back to, oh man, I can't wait to see this days, wouldn't have happened. So what?
The entire that.
Mac, are you still there? Mac, are you still there? I think we lost him. Okay. Oh. Well, if it was not for this whole mess up, and let me try and get get Mac again. If it wasn't for that whole mess up, then this invasion angle might not have happened. Mac, if you're watching this, call me right back. If not, we might be. I'm going to go to your questions, and then we will try and get Danny Davis on the show. So, hang on a minute. It's saying it's almost getting Mac Davis back. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. And all right, here we go. There we go. We'll get Mac back. We'll get the Mac back attack. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Mac, are you there? All right, we'll try him one more time. Meantime, let me, while Verizon is killing us again, I'm going to be moving our show into another room of Aptors Alley in weeks to come, so we don't deal with this again.
That sounds much better.
Yeah, I don't know. A call was coming in to someone who I texted and said, "Do not call me between 10:30 and 11:30," and of course at 10:46, the person calls here. So no, the passion that Cody showed was absolutely unbelievable. But what I want to get to now is we're talking about that the Qatar. The Saudi Arabia issue. We're talking about Qatar because we were discussing last week Eric Bischoff going to be doing something in Qatar with Qatar Pro Wrestling. And we'll have more information on that in a few days. But the invasion angle, because most of the SmackDown guys could not get out of Saudi Arabia in time to get to SmackDown Live, what are they going to do? And they sent out NXT guys, and man, it exploded. Did you ever get to watch it, Mac?
I did. I got a chance to watch the very beginning of the NXT invasion on SmackDown, and I really thought that was probably one of the best openings and things I've seen on TV in a while.
It was absolutely superb. What did you tonight, of course, on NXT, at the beginning of the show, AJ Styles and Gallows, the OC came out, and it was amazing because even in that small place, in that small Full Sail University, you could still feel the heat. You could still feel the amazing. Oh man, this is going to be absolutely great. So and it was. They had their main event, which of course was the original OC against Ciampa. Keith Lee, who, by the way, I think is really sensational, and the young Kevin Von Erich, so to say, Matt Riddle. I thought that was absolutely an incredible match, and of course the Undisputed Era coming in. But what got me here with this whole thing is Finn Balor at ringside coming in and attacking some NXT guys, and then looking up at AJ Styles like maybe he's going to be part of Raw for the Survivor Series.
Yeah, I wish I kept up with it a little bit closer. I don't, but it sounds to me like, as I'm listening to you tonight, that maybe NXT had a little edge over AEW.
I think, in my opinion, that this might be the first week that AEW will be second place to NXT. Not that the quality of the AEW show is bad. It wasn't, but the excitement, the sheer excitement of this whole invasion angle, I think is the most compelling thing on Wednesday nights right now.
Well, let me ask you, after having watched both shows and seeing the end of how AEW went off the air, do you feel like maybe they made that extra effort tonight that they might not have had the plane incident not happen on Friday of last week?
I don't know what they would have done. I really don't know what they would have done, because I think that I don't know where they were going with this. Were they planning the NXT angle anyway? I don't know. But it just seemed to me that it just happened to be a booking situation because of the plane thing. So I don't know what they were going to plan, but they were on kind of like a level playing ground. They weren't doing anything new to get people to watch their show more so than AEW. But this was just a natural thing, and the NXT fans are rivaling the AEW fans in the enthusiasm department. When you turn on AEW, the fans are AEW. Well, turn on NXT and they're just as vocal.
And, I was about to say that for weeks now, we have talked about how the crowds, when you switch from NXT to AEW, the excitement level is different because of the size of the crowd. But now we have NXT bringing that excitement level up to where AEW was, and they both have excitement, and maybe that switch of channels is not so difficult anymore, and you can choose a little bit easier.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, to see Styles, Gallows, and Anderson come out on NXT, I knew there would be some involvement of the invasion. I knew there would be some involvement, but I didn't know it was going to be at the beginning of the show. I really didn't. But I'll tell you what I'm coming out of NXT with, though, that I'm more impressed than I've been with anybody in a long time. And I've seen him on and off for years, and I saw him in the Indies, but Keith Lee is like a monster at his size to be doing some of the flying moves that guys half his weight are doing. He's absolutely freaking amazing.
Matt Riddle is another guy who is amazing in the ring as well.
Yeah. Also, I made some notes about some news that has come out this week. Hulk Hogan is going in for back surgery, and I believe that is tomorrow. So I want to wish him good luck from all the Apta chatters here. And another big thing here is that one of the incredible looking talents in the distaff, the ladies' side of pro wrestling, who was working for TNA for years, and Scarlett Bordeaux, who I did an interview with, she and her guy Kevin Cross recently at Legends of the Ring. She has signed with WWE. I don't know where they're going to put her, but I think she's going to be a definite top flight talent in WWE. I would expect them to start her in NXT.
I would imagine that's where she's going to be. She was she drew attention to the ring, let's put it that way, when we were in Charlotte.
She sure did.
And she is just one of those things that will get everybody's attention. But her work in the ring needs a little polishing, and I think that's where NXT will come into play with her.
Yeah, well, she doesn't have to work in the ring. She just has to look like Scarlett Bordeaux. Speaking about that, you saw my interview. We spoke to each other with Sarah Schreiber, and tell everybody what you said to me.
Say that again now.
You saw my interview with Sarah Schreiber, the WWE interviewer.
Oh, yes.
Tell everybody what your comment was.
I can't exactly remember, but I just kind of made the comment, I don't know how you paid attention to anything.
She is, as we say here, gorgeous. Yeah, she's an incredible
She is
talent.
gorgeous.
Yeah, she's gorgeous and an absolute incredible talent. Let's get back to AEW. So your prediction, Full Gear. Cody said that he's going to never, ever, ever get a title shot in AEW if he doesn't defeat Chris Jericho for the World Championship, AEW World Championship, this coming Saturday at Full Gear. We're going to put you, Mac Davis, my road trip brother, on the spot. What's going to happen in that match?
I think Chris Jericho walks away still AEW champion.
And you know what I think? Go ahead.
And you know, the funny thing is that after watching Cody and his promo tonight and make that comment about never challenging for the title again, that threw me a little bit. I thought I knew for sure which way it would go. And after that comment, I wasn't quite sure, which is a great job by them to add that in there.
Yeah, well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think you're right. And I think this is going to be a great story down the line when Jericho eventually loses to, and this is off the top of my head, he loses to MJF down the road. And now that's Cody's best friend. And MJF changes his ways, and he and Cody are not friendly anymore. And Cody finds some legal maneuver. This is what they do in the old days, a legal maneuver to get back into the title picture. And it will be a major pay-per-view in a major arena with Cody against MJF. What do you think?
Does MJF cause Cody the title this coming weekend?
Ooh, I didn't think of that. That's a good one. I didn't think of that. That's brilliant, Mac. I like that.
And that sets the storyline in motion for the future for those two.
All right. Well, Mac, I want to thank you for being here for this half of the show. And as you know, during the second half, you were gracious enough to let us have guests on. And this guest that we're going to call has the same last name you do. And he's dangerous, just like you
uncle.
are. Uncle Danny Davis.
Uncle Danny. Yeah.
Well, we're going to call him and tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
They can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Mad Mac Davis.
All right. And once again, fans, I will be taking your questions a little bit later on in the show. Thank you, Mad Mac. And we're going to see if we can get dangerous Danny Davis on the phone now. Albeit any problems here. And again, I might start doing this segment for another area, not as colorful, unfortunately, from Aptors Alley in weeks to come, mainly due to the issue with Verizon here, is that my whole neighborhood is having issues with Verizon. And I don't know. Oh, there we go. And let me get his book. This is why I want him on the show, because of this book.
Hello, Bill Apter.
How did you know it was me, Dangerous Danny Davis? I'm holding your book up right now, too.
You are?
I am, yes.
That's nice.
Millions and millions of people are looking at this. And, yeah, well, welcome. You've never been on the Apter Chat before. We've been playing Let's Talk for how many years?
Oh my goodness, I don't want to go into that. That's quite a ways off.
and then we refound each other in Rhode Island at Joe Braun and Scott Wilder's Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yes, I'm a member of that. Yes, I was inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I know, and I was this year, and we rehooked up, and you paid me $5,000, and I got you on the show.
That's right.
That's it.
The check goes through?
It did. So here's what I want to do. I want to do something different. And I know you've been on a lot of podcasts and a lot of video shows and all that, but I want to do something on this second half of the show, at least for a few minutes, that's different than everything else you've done. Okay?
I'm with you 100% with that.
Okay. I would. You don't have to call me Mr. Apter. Mr. is fine.
I know that. I just have
well, wonderful, Willie. But here's what I want to do. I want to go back into character here, and I want to talk to the referee that I had many questions about through the years. Danny Davis, you have, through the years, you have caused some of the greatest issues to happen in pro wrestling by being what I call as a crooked referee. So I want to give you, wait, I want to give you this. I want to give you this form right here to try and defend yourself. And the title that I've given you, and we did in the magazines, was probably the most crooked referee ever in the business. Try to defend yourself here.
Well, first of all, I'm just not Danny Davis. I am Dangerous Danny Davis. I am known as the world famous bad guy referee. So let's get that right out, start right out of the box. Let's get it right.
Okay.
As far as my calling matches, I was never partial to anyone. Really? I was always right there when it came time to count the shoulders that were down. I was right there for the count out. Whatever position I needed to be in, I was there. Some people don't like the way I did things because they always wanted their favorite to be the winner, to be the hero. Well, I don't favor nobody. And I wanted everybody to know that. And they learned the hard way that Dangerous Danny Davis was the greatest referee of all time.
Okay, now wait a minute. I know for a fact that you had issues with the then president of the WWF back then, Jack Tunney, and you were a member of the Hart Foundation. And it seemed that anytime you refereed matches where the Hart Foundation was against another team, the matches always went on the side of the Hart Foundation.
Because they were the best tag team of the times. They were the best there was, the best there is, and the best there ever will be. And as you know, Bret Hart went on to be the world champion and carried that belt for many years. And Jim Neidhart, one of the greatest athletes I've ever met in my life, with a combination of them two. You've heard of Stu Hart's Dungeon. Everybody's heard of it. And when they got in the ring, there was no competition. There was nobody that could beat them. And so they put the best referee they could in that ring, in their matches, so that the thing would be called right down the line, straight as an arrow, and whoever won.
All right,
and
now, so you
out
never
that the Hart Foundation won most of the matches.
So you never saw Jimmy Hart's megaphone come into action in matches against the British Bulldogs, let's say?
I can't be. There's one thing people don't understand about a referee. He can't be everywhere at every time. You got to concentrate on what's happening in the ring at all times. You can't be worried about what a manager is doing, what a fan is doing, what somebody else is doing. You have to pay attention. You know, it's only inches. It's only millimeters where you've got to be right there every minute to see what's going on. You can't be looking around and gawking at Jimmy Hart and etc. You got to be concentrating on when people don't understand that. And when Dangerous Danny Davis got in that ring and he refereed a match, it was called right down the line, and that's what people didn't like.
All right, now we've got some fans writing in questions here. Joker Jack says that, and your comment on this, he says that Nick Patrick was a cheap imitation of Danny Davis. What do you say to that?
That's the truth. Anybody, you know, when people do make history, when people do things for the first time, it's history. And anything after that, people try and copy you, people try to emulate you, which is supposed to be a compliment, but not with Dangerous Danny Davis, because nobody could be like Dangerous Danny Davis.
All right, now, eventually you were kicked out of the WWE position there, and I know there was a lot of legal things going on because of your alleged crooked refereeing, and there was a guy around with a mask, Mr. X, and he looked a lot like you.
How can you say a thing like that?
I always
How
thought
can you
Mr.
say
X
a
was
thing
you.
like that?
I always thought it was you.
It's all conjecture. It's all hearsay. It's all, well, maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. Nobody ever knew who Dangerous Danny Davis was, and nobody, and who Mr. Oh, Jesus, and who Mr. X was.
So did I catch you? Did you just admit you were Mr. X?
No, not at all. Not at all. It was a slip of the tongue. I'm just so excited about being Dangerous Danny Davis that sometimes Mr. X and Dangerous Danny Davis get mixed together when I'm talking about them.
All right. Now, do you currently, other than you, who would you say the best referee in the business was back in your time, or even current? What referees do you admire? I guess the Hebners, who had that double referee thing.
Listen. When I was in the WWF, you know, and all the fans know, and all around the world, everybody knew who the best, who the number one referee was in the world. The world famous bad guy referee, Dangerous Danny Davis. That's who number one was. I didn't like it or emulate anybody else. I was number one. I was on top. I was the best one there ever was in the wrestling history. We made history as Dangerous Danny Davis. We made history.
You made history because you became the prototype for the crooked referee.
Yes, the prototype. That's the word you're going to use. I was number one. I was the first. I was the best at it. And there's no other. So when you say, who do I have, you know, nobody. Dangerous Danny Davis. Danny Davis, the referee, was the best referee the WWF ever had.
Now, you also, because I read this in the book, you wrestled several times. You started off putting up, selling concession stand things. You put up rings. You did a little of everything. And you competed against, and it's in the book here, before you learned how to become a referee, you competed against Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, and more of the greats.
Jake the Snake, all of them, anybody, you name them. I was the best at that too. I was good at that. I was a great wrestler. I was a great referee. Who can say that? And yes, I started out at the bottom. I worked myself up to being a referee and a wrestler. I put up rings. I put up concession stands.
Yeah.
I'd be at the building every day putting chairs up. I'd sell tickets. I'd take tickets. I'd run the box office. I'd do whatever needed to be done.
Wait a minute. I hate to cut you off like this, but there are some fans on here who I thought knew everything about you, and they want to know about Nightmare Ken Wayne and the Nightmares. That's not this Danny Davis. Guys, he's not Nightmare Danny Davis. This is who he is, the most alleged crooked referee in the world, nothing to do with the Nightmares. Okay, he was a Nightmare referee. Go ahead, you were saying?
I was saying I was a great wrestler also. I was in WrestleMania 3, the biggest house in history, the biggest draw in history. Dangerous Danny Davis was with the Hart Foundation in a 6-man tag against the Bulldogs and Tito Santana. And who won? Who won that match at WrestleMania 3? Who was the number one? Dangerous Danny Davis.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Had you not been there, would they have drawn the same record crowd?
Of course, they would have drawn the same crowd, but we all helped. You can't tell me that we at the Hart Foundation, Dangerous Danny Davis, and Jimmy Hart didn't draw some money. You can't tell me that. The other guys, Tito Santana and the British Bulldogs, what a 6-man that was. How can you say that? Do you think we all contributed to WrestleMania 3?
All right. Now, I do know one piece of good that came out of you around the British Bulldogs, that you used to give Matilda dog biscuits when the Bulldogs weren't. You really liked Matilda. Is that true?
That's right.
Okay. You can admit that now.
Well, the dog liked me. He knew a good person. Dogs have good sense of who's a good person. And the dog liked me, and I liked the dog.
All right. Now, this book was you and co-written with our good friend Kenny Casanova. I hope he's watching. If not, this will be replayed on OneWrestlingVideo.com. What are you doing these days? I know that you left the wrestling business to spend time with your family. Again, I read this, and there's so much in this book that I associated with because I was around the same time you were. And there's so much nostalgia for me in here. But the wrestling fan of today, to get a handle on how you broke into the business back then, not, you got to try it at the Performance Center. They loved you. You're in, right? Didn't work like that, did it?
No. You had to earn your way. And you mentioned it earlier. You had to earn your keep. You had to pay dues, as it were. And I paid my dues for a long, long time before I got a break in professional wrestling.
Let's go back to that. You put up rings. You did concessions. What else?
I would go into an arena with a ring truck. I would put up the rings. I would set up chairs. I would go to the concession stand. I would get the ticket box office set up. And then I would go a referee, and then I would come back afterwards, and I would take everything down after everybody left, and I would drive 200 or 300 miles that night and find a hotel, and then get up the next morning and find a place to be. We had no GPS then. We had to find the building.
Right. GPS was your mouth. Your mouth was the GPS. Hey, can you tell me where the building is? Yeah.
That's right. You stop at the police station or fire department and ask where the building was. Or somebody asked, you stop for get something to eat, some lunch or something when you get to the town, and they said, where's this building? And people would give you directions and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a tough job. And it was 7 or 8 days a week. We didn't ask for nothing, but we did what we were supposed to do. And it's called, and if you read my book, work ethic was the main thing. doing things without being asked, knowing what to do, and not complaining.
Right, not
And
complaining.
that's how you get along in the wrestling business. You go get coffee for people. You have to ask you to go get coffee or go get a sandwich. Something when you first start out, you say yes sir, no sir. You walk into the dressing room, you shake hands with everybody, and you say hi to everybody. You respect the people that were there, the elderly, the ones that came before you, and you showed respect for everybody, and you got respect.
When you're saying say hello to everybody in the dressing room. You remember Bobby Davis? He was Buddy Rogers' manager.
Right.
I've been speaking with him recently. He's still alive. He's around. I'm going to have him on the show. I'm going to have him on the show. But one of the first things that I ever learned in this business to hand out to rookie people, saying to make sure that no matter who you see in the arena, from the concession stands all the way up to the top of the wrestling ladder there, say hello to everybody.
Exactly. Show respect.
Yeah. What are you doing these days, Danny?
Well, I do independent shows. I do conventions. I'm doing a show in a couple, about 12 days here locally for an outfit. I'm going to do in fact, I'm going to be named as Danny Davis, and I'm going to referee.
Where is that? Tell everybody so we can...
Well, it's going to be in Beverly, Massachusetts for Elkmania on the 16th of November. And I'm going to do the main event, which is a tag team match. And they called me special because I guess they're having trouble with referees up there. So they call in Danny Davis to be a special guest referee and straight things out up there.
Yeah,
so
right. You'll call every match right down the middle, right?
Right down the middle. No favoritism, impartial, all the time.
Right. Just like the rest of your career. Anyway,
I hope they tape it and it's shown on Facebook so that everybody can see that Danny Davis is still number one referee.
Where can people find your book? Where can they buy it?
First of all, they go to dangerousdannydavis.com and follow the link, and you'll find other things there. You'll find pictures. You'll find other books that Kenny Casanova, WOHW Publishing, has done.
Okay.
And then I would like everybody listening to this podcast to like me on Facebook at Dangerous Danny Davis.
We're actually a vodcast. We're on video right now. You're not, but I'm holding your book up. Everybody can see us here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you dressed, I hope? No, but nobody can see you here.
No, I'm not.
It's not one of those podcasts.
Anyway, let them everybody listening like my page on Facebook, dangerousdannydavis.com. And for the book, Dangerous Danny Davis. If you want the book, go to dangerousdannydavis.com.
All right, before I
and I'm also on Twitter.
Go ahead.
I'm also on Twitter, so if you want to follow me there, you can do that. I like it when they like me on Facebook because I can have a conversation with my fans. There's many fans on there, and sometimes I just spend hours just communicating and having a little fun with them and talking with them and catching up with them, telling them where I'm going to be and invite them to the shows I'm going to be at, etc.
Well, for a crooked referee, you're one of the nicest people I know. I got to tell you.
Thank you. You are too.
You really are.
And I'm going to have a new figurine coming out too, and it's going to be WrestleMania 36. They made a new Danny Davis figure, so that's going to be debuted like this at WrestleMania.
So before I let you go, I know that you traveled for many years with one of my dear friends too, Andre the Giant. You got an Andre story you'd like to leave us with?
An Andre story. Well, let me just say this about Andre the Giant. He was a giant in many ways. He was a kind man.
Yes.
He was misunderstood in so many ways. And if, he only had one wish, that he could spend just a few minutes or a few weeks being a normal sized person.
Yeah.
And he's one of the nicest people in the wrestling business that I've ever met. And I surely do miss him.
Yeah, he was a great guy, and I know you traveled with him for many years. I did
many
too.
years.
And if he liked you, you had a friend for life. If he didn't like you, look out.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, and fans would bother him at airports and while he was eating and stuff like that. And I was there sometimes to be a buffer for that. And again, he'll be missed. and all the stories about him, most of the stories are true. He did some fun things, and the only place that Andre the Giant was comfortable was in the dressing room because nobody gawked at him.
Yeah.
Nobody treated him any different, and that was his sanctuary. That's why he lasted so long in wrestling.
He was one of the boys. All right, Danny Davis, thank you, and I will see you at some of the conventions, and I believe it's in June back at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Yeah, we will both be there. So,
yes, Bill, thank you again, and you're one of my dearest friends.
Likewise.
And I hope that we keep in touch. And thank you again.
Yeah, we will not only keep in touch, but periodically I'm going to call you to be on the show here. And do you still follow the business? Do you still watch the matches? Do you still follow the business?
No, I don't watch the new wrestling. Very rarely. Very rarely.
We might have to get you as a special correspondent to watch one night and let me know what you think.
I would do that in a heartbeat for you, Bill.
So watch it in a couple of weeks. Call me after you of the week you've watched it, and let's go over it and see what you thought of what wrestling is today.
All right, I would like to do that very much. I will do that. That's a promise.
Thank you, Danny.
Bill, after you're one of the best.
So are you. See you at the matches. All right.
All right, bye.
Danny Davis. Wow. You know, it's funny because all the years that I did that I was involved with the magazines, I used to love doing the in-character interviews with the wrestlers, and so many of them, like I played for you some of the thing I did with Terry Funk on my cassette recorder. Most of them stayed in character.
I have a form of a Klingman toe hold, which was originated by Otis Klingman years ago, and I'm sure that you are familiar with that, or a lot of the wrestling fans are, and it puts the level.
And I'm not sure who else I have on this audio tape. I have hundreds of, about 100 audio tape cassettes of audios that I did back in the 70s on my old radio show. Let's see.
Funk, you run out of the ring, you try and get away from him. Are you afraid of hometown decisions in a case like that?
Jack Briscoe.
Well, I'm not afraid of hometown decisions. I'm always cautious of the referees that they pick for the matches, but in the case in Amarillo with the Fox you're talking about, I don't run from anybody, and I don't run from especially a referee. There's times when you get in situations where
that was a story where the Funks and the Briscoes were feuding, and when Jack Briscoe held the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and used to go to the Funk's hometown of Amarillo, people used to say it was a bad town for Jack Briscoe. He was afraid, and that was his answer. I'll play you some of those in the next few weeks. Let me go back. We have a few more minutes. Let me go back to your questions here. But that Danny Davis was not Nightmare Danny Davis. It was the referee who was hooked up with the Heart Foundation. So Brian V, hey Bill, is it just me, or is the audio really low with Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur were talking? It's not you. I have the same issue. I was talking to Mac Davis, my co-host on here, about that several times. I'm going to get in touch with AWE. They got to turn the voice up a bit. Colonel Quayle, boxing Bob Orton. Bob Orton's the grandpa did do some boxing matches. Okay, let me go down. Joker Jack, that's such a cool interview. Well, thank you, Joe. Oh, that's the Terry Funk one. I'm looking for questions to answer. There's lots of them. So Arun Fagara says, Baron Corbin to AEW confirmed. Not confirmed. A lot of people would like to see him go elsewhere. Joker Jack, Cody got Dusty's mind and promo skill. Oh, Joker Jack, I am so glad. And you were the first one on tonight. I am so glad you said that, because when I see, I remember Dusty standing in the ring in Charlotte. Let me tell you something, baby. All my little babies here. And when he was furious, he had this thing that overcame him. And Cody has got it. This was like young Dusty Rhodes with hair, not when he was with Dick Murdoch as the outlaw in the Outlaws, but he was, it's like Dusty is in his body. It's the same kind of fervor. It's the same kind of passion. It's absolutely amazing. Wow. Yeah, I saw that. Colonel Quail, Classy Freddie Blassie versus the Sheik, and the Sheik shot fire in his face. Yeah, I remember that. Brian Solomon, I saw this online the other day. Brian Solomon, one of the tremendous writers wrestling, is writing a book about the original Sheik, not the Iron Sheik, but the regular Sheik, who once tried to throw fire at me, but I ducked. All right, let me find some questions from people who have not asked. Chris Kroll, Bill Apter is a legend. Thank you. I appreciate that. But like Captain Lou Albano would say, I'm a legend in my own mind, brother. I'm not God. No, I'm sorry. If I was, I would heal the world. I'm a super wrestling fan. Yes, that is true. Let's see some other questions here. Hello, Andre. Happy Wednesday night. Same to you. And I thought you'd know about that Danny Davis thing. You watched WWF. Laugh out loud. Gorgeous. All right. I don't see any other questions that I haven't. Was Danny Davis going from ref to wrestling the start of the ref turn wrestler angle that has been used 1,000 times? It was the first time I saw it, to be honest with you. So yeah, maybe. Raziel Ramos, welcome back. Hey, Mr. Bill, what are your thoughts on intergender wrestling? We talked about that last week. I have no issue with it. Andy Kaufman was the intergender wrestling champion, and he was a dear friend. No problem with it at all. Let me see here. Dougie Fresh Richards, Bill, you should have Buff Bagwell on the show sometime. I will see him at a convention in the next few weeks, and I will get his phone number. And yeah, that'd be great. Rick Marone. Hi, Mr. Bill Apter. Hi, Rick Marone. Here is my question for the week. If Bob Backlund, that's Mr. Backlund, young man, would have stayed in the WWE when he lost the title to Iron Sheik and would have turned heel, do you think he and Hogan would have sold out Madison Square Garden? Yeah. Yeah, Backlund Hogan with Backlund as the crazy Bob Backlund, that intense Mr. Backlund. Yeah, would probably have been a quick match, but I think it would have drawn a full house there. Do you have any Randy Savage memories to share real quick? No, not real quick. Read my book. There's an entire chapter about when, and it's a serious chapter, when Randy wanted to kill me. Yeah. Well, he wanted to beat me up. And again, you have to read it in the book. Buff is a friend of mine, Brian B. Haven't talked to him lately on the phone. He's been pretty busy. All right. So let's see if there's anything else I want to show you before we wrap up here. You know, people used to see me at ringside with my Nikon camera. Yeah. This is what I used to use to shoot some of the matches a little bit later in my career. And it's a film camera. It's not digital. So everybody smile. Just got a picture of everybody watching this. And yeah, there was film in this. But probably the greatest picture I ever took, people always ask me about this, was Bruno Sammartino losing the WWF title. I need to put this down, so bear with me for a minute. Losing the WWF title to Ivan Koloff. And the photo was used in almost every one of the magazines that we did at London Publishing. And people say, oh, you must have used an expensive camera for that. Well, I was just starting shooting pictures in my career. So I had this $49 rangefinder Minolta camera. And this is what I took the pictures with. My father, who was sitting right next to me, they used to let him sit next to me at Madison Square Garden, had what they called an Instamatic film camera. And he shot some pictures that were small and grainy, and they came out better than this. He used a lot of my father's pictures. So, all right. Well, that's about it for this week. We've done our great hour chat. We had some great time with Mac Davis and with Danny Davis. Let your friends know that they can, if they miss this, they can see this. Wait a minute, Bill, do you know where to get roids? I'm trying to get buff. I don't know where to. You know what? Do I know where to get roids? Does this look like I would know where to get roids? Come on, Brian. I know you're kidding, and so am I. A pose off, 24-inch guns. I don't know. You know, I did wrestle. I did office wrestle, as you know. Upside down the cow championship office wrestling. But anyway, I want to thank all of you steady people and you wobbly people for coming into Apter's Alley and supporting the show every week. And please let your friends know and spread the word. Now, next week, I will be at a Fight TV taping at Montgomery County Community College in Blue Belt, Pennsylvania at 7 o'clock in the Applied Sciences room, being a guest on Josh Chernoff's Fight TV show. So, and it's a live studio audience, not a dead one, but a live studio audience. So you're all welcome to come down. And I will read Joker Jack's last question. As funny as that is, Dougie, I saw today that Billy Graham told Adam Cole he needed to get on some roids and asked Triple H how to do that. I saw that too. And I don't know. There was a time, and people ask me, did I see all these guys taking steroids in the dressing room all the years I was back there? Do you know not one time did I ever see anyone doing steroids? I would go into the dressing rooms, and if they were doing it, it must have been in the shower or something, because they all kept it away from me. I never saw it. So, yeah. So, nice Joker. What are we talking about? Nice Joker. There's no Joker here. Not sure what you're talking about, Dougie Fresh Richards. Oh, I think Buff was all natural. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Possibly, probably. I just. Oh no, Joker Jack. Okay, I got you. All right. So as I always do before we sign off, my book is Wrestling Fixed? I didn't know it was broken. It is still on sale, and I should have news next week probably about the After Chat pack, where you will get a book, a collectible After Chat DVD that's about 15 or 20 minutes long, and a collectible magazine. Could be one of the magazines I worked for in the States, could be one from Italy, could be one of the old WOW magazines, whatever I have available till I run out of my extra ones, and it would be personally signed to you. And the After Chat pack will probably run with mailing in the United States $39.99. I don't want to charge $40. So it's only $9.99. Why don't they charge $10? So it'll be the book, a DVD, and a collectible magazine for $39.99. Everything will be personalized to you. And I will have details about that on the live show next week. All right. So that's about it. I got to hit the end stream thing here for Bill Apter and everyone else down here at Apter's Alley. All of you down here, there's no live studio audience. Maybe I'll do that one of these days. Yeah, good deal on the book, Bill. Well, hope you'll be the first one to get it. Anyway, don't forget you can follow me at Apter1 Wrestling. It's the number one, not the word. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram periodically. And you can always email me at beapter@onewrestling.com. That's it down here. It's a pleasure to see you, Joker Jack. We'll see you at the matches. Well, I'll see you at the matches. And you too, and you too, and you too, and you too. all of you, what you gonna do when I see you at the matches, brother? It said I ended the stream, but I didn't. Good night, everybody. Thank you.